Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Antigua's Prime Minister dead set on opening up his country. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 12th October 2021. Details when we return.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Brown is providing further details into the government's decision to ease COVID-19 restrictions by the end of the year. ABS's Ragib Aparicio recaps the PM's comments on the way forward.
We cannot justify keeping our country's economy partially closed and limping into 2022 and perhaps having another 19 months of disruption. And as I said over a year ago, probably about 18 months ago, we have to learn to live and work with COVID.
Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown speaking on his weekly radio program. Earlier this month, the government announced its intentions to drop all COVID-19 restrictions by the end of the year. Achieving herd immunity against the virus, however, is crucial in plans to ease restrictions.
COVID is not going away anytime soon. Now, as we eliminate restrictions, the unvaccinated will become more susceptible to contracting the virus.
The Prime Minister warns there is a possibility COVID-19 related hospitalizations and deaths will continue. To mitigate this, the government is looking towards shoring up its healthcare capacity.
We'll be also hiring potentially more doctors and nurses. I don't know where we're getting them from. We may have to look to Cuba, possibly India, and we may have to look to retired nurses as well.
Efforts are also underway to source additional personal protective equipment or PPE, as well as COVID-19 testing apparatus. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Brown is also responding to concerns about the easing of some restrictions later this week, with active cases just under 1,000. The nation's leader says the mental toll the ongoing COVID-19 restrictions have had on the population contributed to the decision.
People are becoming genuinely frustrated with the measures, with the restrictions. There's been 19 months now, and the question is, how much can they take?
The Prime Minister calls it an approach of empathy, but urges members of the populace to show personal responsibility. Ragib Aparicio reporting for ABS News.
Still on Antigua, Western Imperial Medical University is the latest educational institution to officially open its doors in Antigua and Barbuda.
Prime Minister the Honourable Gaston Brown, flanked by Education Minister the Honourable Darrell Matthew and Medical Director at the Celestibird Medical Centre, Dr. Albert Duncan, cut the ribbon signalling the opening of the Western Imperial Medical University. Prime Minister Brown endorsed the move by the group headed by Virginia Singh.
The level of corporate responsibility coming from this group is unmatched. I mean, in as much as we are seeking to attract these universities, the whole idea is to export the service for free, to allow that the students will be getting the service for free. And I think that is certainly extremely remarkable, and a very high level of corporate responsibility coming from Mr. Singh and his team.
The tuition for students will be funded through the UK Investment Group's Corporate Social Responsibility Fund. Vice Chancellor Professor Shalind Naresh Kulkarni says students here and abroad can apply.
We are looking at the total student strength of about 500 to begin with in this year. We would be launching our social media and our online application apps within this week, and the children would be encouraged to come to us, talk to us. We have a group of dedicated staff and faculty members.
Kulkarni says more amenities will be added to the campus of the Western Imperial Medical University.
We are also looking at an open university to come up very soon. So, Open University campus would be here very soon. It would be known as the Western Imperial Open University. Hospital is going to come up over here, right behind these villas.
Education Minister, the Honorable Darrell Matthews, says the university will add to the already growing number of medical universities here on Ireland.
A new facet on our landscape, a new institution on our landscape that will deliver high quality education to our people, that will deliver economic benefits to our country, and that will certainly let Antigua and Barbuda once again stand out as a center of excellence for education.
In April, Yida Zhang and Vijendra Singh signed a memorandum of understanding along with the government of Antigua and Barbuda to establish an offshore medical university, a hotel, and a financial center on 100 acres of land. The university has now come to fruition, and there is confidence of even further investments on the horizon. Terry Andrew, ABS News.
In other news, Perry Christie, a former Bahamian Prime Minister, considers the throne speech of the new government transformative. More in this Eyewitness News report.
Meantime, former Prime Minister Perry Christie calling the legislative agenda of the new Davis-led government transformative. His comments come at the historic opening of Parliament just moments after the Governor-General read the speech from the throne. Now, Christie says some of the initiatives announced in this speech he had plans of doing under his administration, but he says, unfortunately, they could not materialize. The former Prime Minister says he is proud of the party's win under a new Prime Minister, Philip Davis, but he says the work must now begin.
I'm very impressed with what they announced because some of the things I started and wanted to finish, and so they touched upon or put in place a very comprehensive set of strategies and programs to implement in our country. And they've made some very telling ones. And what they kept on saying is they're going to bring innovation and creativity to this. They're going to serve the best interests of the country. They're going to put in place instruments to mitigate against corruption. They're going to deal with an area like climate change. And as I said before, they're going to be judged very quickly on their strategies with COVID-19.
Well, Christie says plans to build a new hospital will take some time, and he notes that the government should focus on the low-hanging fruit to fix what he calls the wrongs of the previous administration.
The judgment will be from day to day, week to week, month to month, on what you are seen to be doing. And that's the real test. Okay? What are you doing? It's going to be the question asked of Mr. Davis every time he goes to Parliament or every time he makes a public speech. And that is what I'm saying. Davis, keep your eyes on your strategies that you articulated. They were well thought out, meaningful. Try not to depart from them unless there is good reason to do so.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The Caribbean Court of Justice has set January 18th for oral arguments in a case in which the Trinidad and Tobago government faces a lawsuit from a group of British American and CLICO policyholders from the Eastern Caribbean over its bailout of the cash-strapped CL Financial Group 12 years ago. The CCJ heard the matter on Wednesday concerning a request for the court's permission to take legal action against Trinidad and Tobago for alleged discrimination against non-nationals in protecting the funds of some policyholders of CL Financial. The CCJ will hear the matter under its original jurisdiction, allowing the court to function as an international tribunal, applying rules of international law in respect of the interpretation and application of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which governs the regional integration movement CARICOM. CCJ President Justice Adrian Saunders said Trinidad and Tobago will submit on or about November 5th its submissions as to why special leave ought not to be granted. If those submissions involve issues of fact which you think render the special leave application not being one that is arguable and ought to be dismissed, then you mention those in your submission and the other side will respond, he told Senior Counsel Deborah Peake, who is representing the state of Trinidad and Tobago. You will have a right to reply, and on January 18th, we will have an oral hearing on the matter. The state of Trinidad and Tobago will file a written submission on or about the 5th of November. The appellants will file their response to those written submissions on December 3rd. Trinidad and Tobago will have until December 17th to file its reply, and there will be an oral hearing on the 18th of January. Justice Saunders said he hoped the oral arguments would be concluded in a day. A typo is how the opposition leader described the government's entire budget for fiscal year 2022, as she said it contained nothing for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The opposition leader kicked off the budget debate in the House of Representatives. In so doing, she declared a political war on the government as she raised concerns about several aspects of the budget. TV6's Jewel Brown reports.
So you say, is he curry lovers? Curry zero rated. When they caught you, when you were caught out, your explanation was it was a typo. Well, some people feel this whole budget statement is a typo. There's nothing in it. Nothing in it.
Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as she responded directly to the statement delivered by Finance Minister Colm Imbert on Monday for the $52.429 billion budget for fiscal 2022. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar recalled that while she was Prime Minister, the People's Partnership Administration she led had removed the value-added tax, or VAT, on some 7,000 food items, as she referenced the Finance Minister's statement on Monday that he proposes to expand the list of basic food items that are VAT exempt.
On removing VAT from certain food items, the Minister suggested that the substantial food price increase was due to the effects of the pandemic, such as trade and shipping issues, which he said will work their way out. So now that their backs are against the wall, what do? They have now reversed their previous position and returned to the UNC program of zero rated basic items.
The opposition leader also spoke about the issue of foreign exchange as she referred to an email exchange between Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and businessman Inchan Ishmael.
Today, small and medium-sized businesses are struggling to get the forex they need to survive, while the friends, the family, the financiers continue to record profits. When small businesses email the Prime Minister begging for forex, what does the Prime Minister turn around and say? What did he say? Kiss my hinds. Kiss my hinds.
She raised other issues concerning the local business community, such as the Safe Zones initiative set to begin on Monday. Restaurants, bars, gyms, casinos and cinemas, as well as water parks that choose to join the Safe Zones initiative must ensure all employees and patrons in the Safe Zones are vaccinated against COVID-19, except where exemptions are authorized for medical reasons.
Then there's the issue of unvaccinated employees. Now have to produce a PCR test every 2 weeks to continue to work. Who pays for this? This contradicts the opinion of the President of the Industrial Court, Deborah Thomas Felix, that terms of employment cannot be arbitrarily changed by an employer.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar also addressed the issue of the property tax, which is yet to take effect more than a decade after the act for it was passed by the Parliament. In doing so, she spoke of the financial suffering many are undergoing due to the COVID crisis.
Under this draconian law, if you fail to submit the valuation forms by 30th November, you shall be liable to pay a $5,000 fine. That is a criminal offense. So you can be dragged before a magistrate's court, You can be fined just $5,000 for failure to submit the form, and you will have a criminal record entered against you. All because this government wants your money. They told us that. We want your money. Again, this is war on the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The opposition leader declared a political war on the government.
I am not inciting any whatever. It's not sedition. I'm talking about political war. As I said, we will fight you in the parliament. We will fight you outside the parliament. We'll fight you on the pavement and everywhere that we can. Legally and constitutionally, we will do that.
Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now makes it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.